Discord, but Zoom. Okay. Okay. Hey, so tell me, why are you not vegan?
I never thought about not. I never thought about being vegan until I started watching your videos and stuff.
That's cool. Do you know what being vegan is?
Well, I guess just doing away with doing using and consuming animal products or whatever.
Yeah, so being vegan means not exploiting or slaughtering animals for whatever reason. It can be for food, for clothing, for entertainment, whatever other reason.
All right.
Do you agree with that? Is that something you think is moral to do, to exploit animals?
Well, I look at it like this. I mean, if we can take the personal route about it, or we can just take what has always gone on anyway, whether we have a hand in it or not.
I mean, we have a hand in it, right? Like, you cannot. We live in a capitalistic society. It's supply and demand. So, whenever we buy an animal product, we basically not the animal that was slaughtered in that moment or that was exploited in that moment, but another animal will be exploited and slaughtered for us, right? And because we bought that animal product,
So it's just about us. It's not about every other animal out there.
it's about our choices that effectively infringed all the choices of animals.
So 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 all animal deaths are not the same, right?
No, of course not. No, that's why I mentioned animal exploitation, not animal death in particular. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, a death is a death to me. I mean, if we're looking at it like that, beyond the exploitation, with death still occurs. So I mean, we can talk about the depth and exploitation and the use of the products or whatever. If we just take ourselves out of the equation, the depth is still there. You know, each animal that dies feels pain more or less. So, I mean, if we're not solving what's going on with all these other animals. I mean, what difference are we making?
What other animals do you mean?
Well, let's put it this way. If in the grand scheme of things, more or less everything on the planet is food for something somewhere somehow. You know, everything out there that's alive is consuming something.
Oh,
So it's not
sure.
like that's not like we're going to stop the death of one thing where the other thing suffers
But let
by
me
not
ask you
being.
this. Let me ask you this. You're right, right? With us being alive, that inherently involves us killing somebody, right? But does that mean that we should go around killing whoever we want, or just because we can? Because eventually we could apply the same logic that saying, well, death is going to be around us anyway, might as well kill somebody.
No, that's not how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like this. Let's say let's say everything has to eat one thing to survive, right? Just
Okay.
because just because you didn't personally go out and kill it, you still have to eat, right? Humans, but more or less, have taken the you killing the animal out of the equation, and somebody else is doing the killing.
Yeah.
So they humans basically have made a science and an art out of processing the killing, while the other people that are not aware of it enjoy the benefits of it, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
so if all this killing that you're saying is that is exploiting the animals was not being done, the same people would have to go out and do their own hunting for the same food that they go out and enjoy anyway. So the suffering and exploitation will still be there.
So what
That's
you're
just like that's just like saying when they hunt the deer to control the deer population, right? if they don't hunt the deer, what happens to the deer? They just what? It'll be an overabundance of deer out there, and the deer suffer because it's only so many, that can be in that area or whatever that they're populating.
But let's take it one step at a time, right? So what you said is that if these animals don't go into slaughterhouses, then essentially they will be slaughtered by other people who want to consume them, right? Like I'd spoken today to, I don't know, 10, 20 people on the street. So what you're saying is if there wouldn't be slaughterhouses, these people would essentially go out there and kill animals themselves. Is that one of your claims?
Well, that's exactly part of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: if you want a ham sandwich and you go into the store to get that ham sandwich, you didn't kill it; somebody else killed it, but you still enjoy the benefits of the ham sandwich, right? So if
But
they weren't slaughtering the animals for that ham sandwich, you would have to. Well, where am I going to get a ham sandwich for? I guess I had to go out there and do the same thing that the factory was doing. I had to go out there and get it myself. They would have to go out and hunt for their meat.
sure.
So at the end of the day, that animal is still going to be killed. The animal is still going to suffer.
But but
So
but you but you're proving exactly my point, right? You're proving my point that if somebody wants to consume animal products, essentially what you're saying is that they responsible for the death of an animal, correct?
right,
Right.
right.
Okay. So then is it moral to to be responsible for the death of an animal when you can choose not to?
My stomach don't have a moral issue.
Well, your stomach doesn't, but your mind does, right? Because
Right.
like if I kill a human being, right? Hypothetically, I kill a human being, I cut off their hand and I cook it in the nicest way possible and put it in front of you. Your stomach may want to eat that too, but you, knowing that it is a human being who suffered, may not want to be part of it, right?
Yeah, you kind of twisting it. You're twisting it a little bit to make it an emotional thing. It's not an emotional thing. I don't have a love affair with my sandwich when I eat it. I'm just eating a sandwich.
But that's I understand what I understand where you're coming from. That is true that you're just eating a sandwich from your side, but you do understand that, as we've just pointed out, that when you are eating a sandwich, you are essentially slaughtering an innocent animal.
Well,
So
it goes right back to what I said in the first place. If the factory's not doing it, and that's what you want, you will be going out to do the same thing that the factory's doing.
well, first of
So
all, no. First of all, no, that's not applicable.
the suffering of the animal is still going to be there one way or the other.
Well, no, first of all, that's not true. No, that's not applicable to everybody. A lot of people, they consume animal products without even thinking that there's an animal on the other side that was exploited and slaughtered for them. So first, a lot of people would not actually go and kill an animal themselves. Actually, I think the majority of people would not kill an animal themselves, but rather somebody else do it for them. And the only reason why they consume animal products is because somebody else does it for them. But regardless of the situation, right? My point is in asking you is, regardless if you pay somebody to do it or you do it yourself, is it moral considering that you can choose for an animal to not be killed at all? For your food, for your stomach.
Is it moral for me?
Is it
My
moral
choice?
from your values? Yes. Is it moral from your values to slaughter an innocent animal for something that you don't actually need?
Well, if see, that's the other half of it. I mean, those that don't know better won't do any better. So I'm looking at it. If you put the question before me, this is like before I started watching all these videos. This is an issue that I never thought about.
And
But
that's okay.
once you start thinking about it, you know that you bring feelings into it. It kind of changes things. But then when you get to your dinner table and you're looking at the chicken wings and the steaks and the pork chops and the bacon, you're not thinking about what's moral. You're thinking about just eating what you've always ate and what you always knew.
I
And I
get
think
I totally
I
get
think
what
I
you
think
mean. Yeah.
that's that. But see, that's the thing. You know, the more people are informed about it, I guess it would sway their habits, their diet. But you're talking about something that people have been doing ever since they were born, and it's been put in front of them. You know, just like I wouldn't know how to kill a pig or a cow or a deer or anything else. I don't know that part of it.
Okay,
But if
but
that's what I had to do to get what I want, then we go right back to we go right back to we not putting the emotional part into it. We're putting the hunting aspect back into it, or what people done from way back. They went and put a spear into a animal or the deer or whatever, and they brought it home and processed it and chopped it up and ate it. They didn't have no just like you going out into the field to hunt. You don't have no emotional connection to that animal. The only thing you know is you going out hunting and you bringing it home.
I understand what you mean. Listen, I'm not debating whether that's what people do, right? That's you're right that that's what a lot of people do. The question that I'm asking is, do you think that this is what people should do? It's not about what's actually happening. I understand that. My question to you is a moral question. Do you think people should do this knowing that they could choose to not kill animals? You could argue that in the past maybe that was somewhat needed, but nowadays it is not needed. Everything that we do to animals is therefore incredibly cruel and unjust, right? From my perspective, at least, because given that there is no need for it, that just makes everything extremely unjust, because that means it's just because we want it or just because we're used to it. So before we dive into well, it's difficult to change, right? Because that's what you said at first, or that's what people do. My question to you is it moral to do so?
Was it moral to kill the animal?
Yeah, knowing that you don't need to.
I don't. Well, I'm looking at it like you got a difference between needs and wants. So I'm looking at it. I can't. I'm in a position of, since I'm not a vegan and haven't been one and haven't really thought about it until I started watching. I can only speak from that perspective. But at the same time, I'm looking at, as a matter of fact, since I started watching your videos, I'm starting to see all these shorts popping up with the animals being killed or whatever, and that's some crazy stuff because I never saw that before. But is it makes me think, but it also makes me look at the if I take the emotion out of it, then it's just me watching the video. I
But
still
why
don't
are
have
you why are you
I
taking
still
the
don't.
emotion out of it, man? You're a human being. We're all emotional beings. You know,
Well,
the emotion that you're feeling is just validating that what you're seeing may not sit
no,
right by you.
no. Listen, that's what I'm getting ready to get to. Look at it. I look at it like this. If I'm not looking at the videos of them doing this to the animals in the factory, and I look at the videos that I see like on National Geographic or something like that, where they had the camera out there and the lion is attacking the wildebeest or the hyenas or jumping on this animal, and you watch them kill it and eat it on the spot. Ain't no chopping up. They chopping and crunching in on that animal, right? I'm watching the animal that was running free to being killed and ate apart. There's
Yeah,
an
but
emotional, there's an emotional thing about that by me just watching it, right? I
but
you want that animal to survive, but it's nothing you can do about it but watch. Just like there's nothing I can do about these pigs being slaughtered. I'm watching a video of it. They're
But wait,
already
wait, wait, wait. Say, I'll just hypothetically, you had a button in front of you while you're watching these videos of animals being hunted down by other animals. And when you press this button, it both satisfies the hunger of the lion chasing the gazelle, as well as sparing the gazelle from being hunted by a lion. Would you press this button?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why? What are we doing here? We
I'm just
we know
asking
that.
you hypothetically a
No,
hypothetical question to kind of
we know.
understand where your values lie.
Well, my values are pretty simple. My values are pretty simple, and it all comes down to uh just like an animal, a wild animal makes a choice. I make a choice. We all make choices every day. Some of them are better than others.
But the
but I'm
question
looking at
is
it.
it a moral choice? That's not, it's not if we all know you're
I
making a
don't. I'm.
choice.
It's as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, if I can say it's an uncomfortable choice that we all make. We all make lots of uncomfortable choices, but at the
So it
end of
is,
the
why
day,
is it uncomfortable? Why is it
you,
uncomfortable?
it's an uncomfortable choice because you're putting an emotional thing with it. You're
Okay,
putting
leave emotions out of it. Leave emotions out
you
of it.
making a you putting an emotional thing on it. And the reason that I'm looking at it like an emotional thing is because if I can't do for one what I can do for all, what are we doing?
So listen.
Because we it the it's just like this. You only gonna be able to reach so many people. These people that you're reaching, they may change their mind today and they might switch back tomorrow. But the machine that is killing all these animals is still cranking out them burgers and them chicken wings and all of that. We're not making a dent in it, man. It's not doing. You can put tie all the emotions you want into it. That's not stopping that machine from cranking them burgers and chicken wings
Well,
out.
well, well, wait a minute, Scamchan. Let's first of all, that's not true. Arguably, it's not true because you will notice
How
that
many
simply,
factories? How many
but
factories starting up?
Scamchan, you will notice that by simply going into a supermarket like you do here in the Netherlands, and you will see that a lot of people do buy plant-based products. So what will happen eventually, you can think for yourself, if people get the calories from plant-based products, the calories that they would otherwise get from animal products, then less animals are put to the process of exploitation and slaughter. Okay, there's first of all, that's number one. Number two, the reason why I pose that hypothetical, because you claim to see, you say that when you see a lion hunting a gazelle down, you feel bad, but it is what it is. That's kind of what you're saying. And the reason why I posed the hypothetical that if you had a button to make it stop, just that incident, not all other incidents, just the one incident that you were watching right there, to stop it and to satisfy the hunger of the lion and to make the gazelle feel safe and not feel predated on. The reason why I ask you if you would press this button is because that's the button that you have every single day when you're making this choice. Every single day that you're choosing to buy animal products, you're essentially not pressing a button and you're essentially putting an animal to a slaughterhouse. You do not like to see it. It's not an emotional thing that you don't like to see it. You don't like to see it because you empathize with them. It's okay, maybe it is an emotion, empathy, but empathy is not an emotion that is illogical. It's a highly rational and logical emotion. You know, empathy is one of those emotions that have driven human beings to achieving what we are achieving today. Society is what it is today because of our capability for empathy. So you cannot say that other animals do this one thing, therefore we should be able to do this one thing also.
No, that's not what I said. I can make it clear exactly what I'm saying. And
You're
I'm
saying
not
that you have no, you're saying, like, let me just put it this way, to make sure that I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is that you would make no difference if you would go vegan, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Okay, then correct me. Maybe I was wrong.
Because I I'm not part of that community, so I can't say what difference I would make by going that way. Only you can because you're part of that. What I'm saying is that this whole meat or whatever has been going on as long as I've been alive, right? So
Yeah?
that's all I know. That's the only position that I can really speak from. And I mean, I would be a hypocrite to say that I can flip and change all of 30, 40 years of doing what I'm doing because somebody want to put an emotional thing to it. I can understand that. That's why I say I like you. You all right. You're doing good work, but I'm looking like you at the bottom of the hill trying to go to the top to get some momentum to come down the other side. I don't even know if you're ever gonna make it to the top or come down the other side because it's been going on for so long. I mean, like I said before, that if we can't do for all, why are we trying to minimize with a few? Because the suffering is suffering,
But let me
you
let,
know.
let me just put it another way. I kind of see where you're going at, right? It's kind of an appeal to futility in an essence. That it's kind of, well, well, it's in essence you're saying it's difficult for you to change because it's something you're doing your whole life, and in another sense you're also saying that, well, you changing doesn't really make that big of a difference anyway, because everybody's been doing it for their whole life. It's an uphill battle, and only the end matters. Only if we get everybody to stop, it's what matters. But the reality is not that, right? Because any sentient being, any of these individuals, you, by choosing to consume animal products, you are putting up from 100 to 300 individuals every year through slaughterhouses, through exploitative processes, through videos that you have seen and you do not like, right? You can choose, of course, if you were to be choosing to adopt a plant-based diet, to go vegan, you could be sparing all those individuals that 100 to 300 animals. Like, obviously, in the whole scale of industry, which has 80 billion animals per year, I think 90 actually last year, which is an insane amount of number. 300 animals means nothing in that industry. It's not even a blimp. It's not even one pixel in the whole thing. But it means absolutely everything to those 300 animals, right? Because if you were picked out of 8 billion people to be the one who somebody chooses to exploit and slaughter, it means nothing to the whole world population. There's 8 billion people on this planet. But it would mean everything to you if they don't choose you, or if they leave you alone. Because to you, your life matters. That's the point of veganism. It's acknowledging that each individual animal matters. It's not that animals in general matter, but each individual animal matters.
Man, you making it weird, man. You making it weird, because if we want to look by the individual animal, you minimize the whole, because it's about all of them. It's not just about one. It's about all of them. I mean, the one animal, you say the one animal, but the rest of them still getting killed.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only way to save all of them is to save each individual one, sadly, at this point in time. And at the end of the day, you might be right. You and I might die, and this whole thing may continue after we die. I'm pretty sure that that's actually what's going to happen. Animal slavery is not going to end within our lifetime. But the fight that we're doing, the choices that we're making, will definitely have an impact in the future. Like, if you choose to be on our side, you're basically choosing to be on the right side of history, and you're choosing to stand up against an injustice, right? Whether that will make a big difference or not is another thing, right? Like let's put it this way: slavery, which was another injustice, and it can seem like a weird comparison, but I'm just be making a comparison which you can understand and you can agree that it's a big injustice. It took a long time to abolish. It took maybe 50, maybe 100 years to abolish. Within that time frame, there were a lot of people who stood up to slavery and died before slavery was abolished. If none of those people stood up, slavery might have taken even longer. So it can seem from their perspective of those people who stood up to it and then died, that nothing that they have done actually achieved anything. But the reality is, in the end, if you look back, now us looking back, we realize just how much of an impact everybody had in that movement. So you could have the same impact. You could choose to be on the right side of history.
I mean, eating one less hamburger ain't gonna make a difference, will it?
It can. And not just eating one less. If you choose to no longer give money to farmers so that they exploit and slaughter animals, it will make a difference, yes. And if eventually you want to do like what I do, not necessarily on a YouTube channel, like maybe joining a vegan group or something, and you want to speak for animals, you can also do that, and you are doing even more, and you are actually making an actual big difference.
I guess. I don't know. I just look at it like I look at it like I don't want, if it's all about stopping the suffering, we just like how they stand outside of those abortion clinics protesting or whatever. So where's all the protests outside the slaughterhouses?
There are protests outside the slaughterhouses also.
Are they?
Yeah, there's a lot. I personally don't go to protest outside of slaughterhouses because there's no slaughterhouses close to Amsterdam. In fact, a lot of the slaughterhouses are pretty far away here. I think there's only a couple of slaughterhouses in the Netherlands. Most animals are slaughtered in Germany from the Netherlands. But yeah, it's you do your best. It doesn't, like, I feel like nobody will look at you and think of you like, well, look at you, you're not making any impact. The reality is you are making an impact. It's just not easy to acknowledge your impact. It's just not easy to see your impact, but you will be making an impact by going vegan for sure.
You trying to make me go? You trying to make me? You trying to convince me to go vegan
Yeah,
on the
I am
spot?
trying to. I am trying to make you go vegan. It's true because I feel like
That's
I
wild.
because I feel like you just the sheer fact alone that you felt uncomfortable watching these videos tells me that there is something within you that is saying that it is bad. So that's something that is
No,
within you that is saying, is it bad? You can try
no.
to bury it, but the
I look
reality
at
is
it.
that it is bad.
Well, I don't know about that. As uncomfortable like you talking about. I'm talking about uncomfortable like when I'm looking at it. This is something that I never knew. Well, I knew about it, but to see it in a video, I'm like, wow, that's interesting right there. You know, they showed one close up of the pig getting electrocuted. Then they showed another one with a whole bunch of them being corralled, and they fall out the other end, and they're dead.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. I mean, I don't mean to sound heartless or whatever, because it's what it's gonna sound like, but my emotions on this don't run like that, you know. That because I like I said at first, I've been on the other side for so long. I just look at it. I mean, the way I look at things is that this been going on for so long that I don't even know how to speak on it on the emotional part of it because I'm not emotionally attached like that.
But
I mean, you want the
sounds to me like you just want to escape your emotions that you actually feel, because when you see
no,
these
no,
videos, when you see, but you just mentioned that the video, so there's two things here, right? At the beginning of this conversation you mentioned that you feel uncomfortable watching a lion attack a gazelle and you don't want that gazelle to be attacked, and then your rational mind just steps in and says, well, you know what, it's going to happen anyway, might as well go with it, go through it, or something like that. That's kind of the same logic you seem to apply to how we exploit and slaughter animals. Am I wrong?
no. Look at it like this. These people actually went out there to Africa to watch these animals, right? It's a whole bunch of videos like that. They're actually watching this animal get killed by other animals. They're not jumping in to stop it, but they will sit there and video it, right? Just like how these little shorts is on, they're videoing these animals being killed, right? And
Well,
we
no,
get to
these
watch.
videos are done in secret. These videos are done in
They,
secret.
well,
They're like have
how they get a camera in there like that?
they post. So what they do is they take like cameras where they plant them in factories, and then they come back and take them. They don't watch it in real time or film it in
Oh,
real time. Yeah.
oh. I'm like, it's real, it's a real clear shot. I like they holding the camera or something. I didn't know they would just hide them in there and doing it, you know.
No, so there's a documentary called Pignorant. With the whole documentary is essentially uh, this guy called Joey, who is showing how he planted these cameras in the place where they put pigs in gas chambers. He's just showing that. She's explaining his whole plan and how he went with it. It might be interesting for you to watch.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, I look at it like the more I know, the more I know. I mean, I didn't know a bunch of this stuff until you see it, you know. But it's back to the animals on the thing that I'm watching. You know, I'm in a helpless position of watching it, and that's it's like they're getting killed for the survival of another animal. Just like how all the wildebeests are trying to cross the river when the alligators are right there. Some of them not going to make it. Some
But
of them
that's
are
not
not
the
going to
same
make it.
thing. It's not.
But
You
I no,
acknowledge that's not the same thing.
it's the same thing because look, it's the same thing. These 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 animals want to survive and make it across. There are animals in the water. They're trying to eat to survive. Right? They're making a choice. They pick and choose which one they're gonna snap at and reach at. Right? So here we are, humans. They're making a choice to process these animals. Right?
No, no, no. Please use the correct terminology. They're not. We're not processing them. We're exploiting and slaughtering them.
Well, it's a process to go from the front of the factory to the end of the factory, right? They don't just go in and get put on the shelf as a whole hog. It gets processed.
Sure, but calling it processing, it's kind of disregarding the
Well, I
plight
mean,
that they go through, right?
they not
Like
putting a lot.
it's not like when it was during slavery times, what we did to slaves, we called it processing, right? Just to bring it
Yeah,
back to the same,
yeah,
we called it enslaving,
they got processed
exploitation.
and sold from start to finish,
Sure, okay,
and
well,
killed, some of them killed too.
I listen. I don't want to go into
Well, you
semantics,
brought up
and I have
slavery.
fair enough, fair
I
enough.
didn't bring it up.
I'll take it back. It's not about slavery. It's about the semantics, as I said. It's not. I brought up the semantics of processing, but I don't want to go into the whole semantics of it. What I want to understand from your perspective is that what I want you to understand is that there is a difference, right? All these animals, when they make these choices, they make conscious choices, trying to do their best. They're not making. And when an animal is trying to cross a river, as you mentioned, and some of them die, in their mind, they're not making a conscious choice that knowing that one animal will die. They're making a conscious choice for their own best interest, and it just happens that one of them dies. That's not the same as us bringing to life knowingly sentient beings, knowingly exploit them, and knowingly killing them. We do that. There is 100% certainty that every animal that is brought into existence from an animal farm will be exploited and slaughtered. This is what we do. This isn't well, we brought this life to this animal into existence. It's just life that it happened to die, so we'll eat them. No, these animals, we breed them to life, we exploit them and slaughter them with a purpose in mind. This is all calculated. It's not it happens. It's not nature how it happens in nature. What happens in nature is awful, but what we do to animals is not it happens. It's completely intentional exploitation and slaughter.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't. I'm just having a discussion. I'm just trying to the emotional component is really something that drives the narrative home, that somebody should take some kind of action against what's going on. And if it's bad, which it is, to do that to all these animals on a scale like that, it should be stopped. So I'm trying to figure out where's the regulation being put in place, just like how we got regulations put in place against the slavery that you brought up. Where's the
Yeah.
regulation against that?
Exactly. But do you think we can get regulation to happen when 97 or 98% of people want to pay for this? Not because maybe they, and that's also a key aspect of it. A lot of people aren't like we're just like you. A lot of people aren't even aware of what happens to animals. A lot of people are sold this bullshit image that animal agriculture sells them, which is a happy animal on a field somehow, living happily, and farmers having a nice life or whatever, and then they're showing them enter a building and then exit as meat. They're literally not, they're sold a story, a fairy tale. They're literally sold that. So when all these people are sold fairy tales, what we need to do is tell more people the truth, number one. And number two, try to get more people on our side. Because the more people we have on our side, eventually we can get to regulation, as you mentioned it. But we cannot possibly get to regulation when 98% of people want to do what they want to do, you know? The government will not do something that is unpopular. You know, governments just do what's popular. They don't do what's right. They do what's popular. That's essentially because they depend on votes. So, you know, if you want to fight for this, the first thing you can do is be vegan. That's literally it.
The first thing I can do, oh man, you're making it hard, man. You're making it hard.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody,
it sounds like that.
everybody wants the sausage, but they don't want to see how the sausage is made.
Sadly, yeah. Yeah.
That's wow.
But you've already
Well,
taken an important step forward. You know, you've already watched some of the videos. You're already coming to the streams. You're already having a conversation with me. I think you're already taking steps forward in this direction. I just think don't let yourself be fooled by animal agriculture, and don't let yourself go into this appeal to futility. It can seem overwhelming that it's a lot and that it's hard. But once you're on this other side where you're no longer exploiting animals, you're already doing a big deal. You're already making a big deal. You're already making a difference.
I don't know if I'll make a difference or not. It's kind of hard, man. It's kind of hard. It's not easy to step away, man.
Sometimes the best things in life, or the fair things in life, sometimes are not fair, are not easy to do. But I personally, for myself, I consider myself that even if something is not easy to do, I still would want to do it because I at the end of the day, I want to go to bed knowing that I'm a fair person and that I stand for what is right.
Right. That's true. That's true. I mean, sometimes it's easier to eat a chicken wing than to try to eat a bowl of salad.
And vegan food is not salad, by the way. You know,
No, I'm just making
there's
a generalization.
vegan wings also. By the way, we have 4 minutes left on this call because I don't have the
Vegan
paid version.
wings? What
Yeah,
the
there's
heck is a
vegan wings.
vegan wing?
It's just exactly, you know, literally chicken wings are just deep fried meat
Right.
covered in dough and I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
oats or something like that, right? That's exactly it. Vegan wings are, you may not even see the difference. If you find them in your supermarket, try them out. You may not even see the difference.
I never heard of it. I never heard of it.
Yeah,
A vegan wing.
there's a lot of those.
You tried it.
Dude,
You tried it.
in Netherlands, KFC has vegan options. So you can go to KFC and buy vegan wings. Yeah.
That's crazy. Never heard of it, man.
Yeah,
That's
because at the end of the day, you know, everybody acknowledges it's not about taste, texture, or anything. It's about the animals. And if you can buy the same food without exploiting animals, why wouldn't you?
true. That's true. But it's hey, when you looking at that shelf and pulling it off the shelf, see, that's that. There you go. I thank you for that. Thank you for that. If they would make it harder, then you wouldn't have the freedom of choice to just pull it off the shelf. If they stop pulling it off the shelf, then you would be forced to use the other options. So there you go.
Yeah, but
That's
unfortunately, we're not there. And unfortunately, the only reason why they are on the shelf is because people continue to buy it. The minute you stop buying it, the minute everybody stops buying it, it's no longer going to be on the shelf. And it might take a while, but you know what? You protesting and saying no to it and not taking it off the shelf will eventually mean that less of it will be on the shelf and maybe at some point disappear completely, yes.
yeah, that might be true. That might be true.
But
I
there's
don't I
no
don't
other way to go around it. That this is
well,
the only way.
I don't shop. I can say that right now. I don't go shopping and pulling it off the shelf. Somebody else is doing that. So I have to convince them not to do it.
There you go. As long as you're making the choice, it's your responsibility.
There you go. I appreciate you, man. You all right. You all right, man. I was thinking you was finna bash me, man.
No, I'm
Thought
not.
you
I'm not here to bash, man. Like I understand your perspective. Listen, we have 2 more minutes left. I'll just say, like, I understand animal agriculture is a fucking dick to all of us. You've been duped just like I've been. Everybody's been duped, and that's the sad reality. You should be mad at them. You should not want to buy products, regardless if you care about animals or not. You should not want to buy products from them because they've been lying to you about all of it. Because if you speak to a farmer, they'll just sell you bullshit lies. They won't show you the reality. You should be pissed off at that. I'm pissed off at people who try to lie to me just to get their way. It's fucked up.
wow, that's that. Hey, that I never thought about that. You right. You right.
Hey, listen, we have like 40 seconds left, or I don't even know what's going on here. Oh, 1 minute and a half left. Yeah.
All right. All right. Good talk, man. I didn't know what you was gonna say when I came up or not, but I was just looking at it like I want to save all the animals, not just a few here and there. We shut down the factories, man. If they're bad, they're bad. So stopping a few from going in is kind of weird to me. I want to stop them all from going in.
You got to start with the